there's a website called which addresses the situation of cultural Marxism. I mean, I thought I was the only one that seems to be discovering these things, but apparently those on the right have known about this for some time. And there's a website called Smash Cultural Marxism, and you can get T-shirts that say Smash Cultural Marxism, and you think, great, they've really, not knowing their mindset and where they're coming from, you can go to this website and think, wow, they're on the right lines. Then you scroll down, and you start seeing the usual, the most rabid anti-Semitism, unbelievable. Then you realise that you have entered the world of the ultra-right nationalist, and then you think, why am I allowing myself to be sucked into this? Is it possible to be against cultural Marxism and not to be a racist or a fascist or ultra right wing? This is the problem. This is the subtle problem that both sides have. These scenarios or these narratives. Each has a narrative that basically diminishes any other narrative, and if you're not part of their narrative, then you are an enemy narrative. Well, we are the ultimate enemy narrative. We are Christian. We have the Christian narrative, and I say, well, how do we carry on with our evangelism when we're scared of just saying the wrong thing and ending up with a fine or in prison or such? It's getting more serious, and this could be stopping some people from fulfilling their evangelistic gifts because of our fear. Well, what I would say is this: everything must be looked at from God's perspective, not our perspective. Our perspective sees the problems. He sees the solutions. We see all the restrictions. He sees the fact that he has a destiny for everyone. And if you and I are part of the solution for one person out there who needs to hear the gospel, then no amount of PC nonsense is going to stop you from fulfilling any role you may have in helping that person. So this is the world we're in. We are having to rely more on God, which is how it's meant to be. Less with our own strategies and our own plans, because I don't think that's going to work now, because the world has its own strategies and plans, and it doesn't include you. And in fact, it's going to go very much counter to what you're all about. So rely more on God to open up opportunities, and if it means persecution, then you're in good company. You're in the company of Bonhoeffer and all those in the third world and in Iran and in North Korea and the early church and the church, the martyrs that have died all through the last 2,000 years. You're in good company. I'm not saying we're going to die for our faith, but you never know. You never know what's around the corner. And I think the challenges of political correctness is the biggest challenge of our age, even more so than the Islamic thing, because the Islamic thing is actually covered by political correctness and is allowed to go further than it should have done because of political correctness, if you get my drift. So be strong and just remember who is in charge, who has the whole world in his hands and who controls the destinies of every person. Always bear that in mind, and not to allow fear of man to get in the way. So thank you for listening. Bye.